Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is in the cosmos, whenever this is finding you there. Hello and welcome to Kaichi Alchemy. You can call me Tachi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a reading on your past, present, and potential future energy, and go through a little bit of a ritual, an action step for how to apply and utilize this energy, this message, this information a little bit. Take it a little deeper into your life, into your reality, right? I hope everybody's having a wonderful August so far. How are you doing? Where are you tuning in from today? Spirit, please allow me to see, please allow me to channel a message in alignment with this collective's greatest and highest good, balanced with that of the collective at large. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh. Have we? No, I don't think we did a reading on this one. I just came out in some other reading. So if you happen to know which one that is, there's some cross-reference going on there. Perhaps it would be beneficial for you to look at. But today we're going to be reading on the Ateshga energy for you specifically. So if you are tuning in live, or even if you're not, it may be a little bit of a time-specific message for you today. So for this Ateshga collective today, I am going to pull the guidebook info. Oh, it's from the north on page 72, Ateshga, Azerbaijan? That's always how I heard it's pronounced, but the spelling looks a little different, so I'm not 100% sure. Do any of y'all know how to pronounce Azerbaijan correctly? Please let me know. Help me out if you may. The energy focus for this group today is ignition, which I find extremely humorous because I spent all morning having my friend work on my car. So maybe this is for me also. Or maybe that's some kind of confirmation for you if you've been having some car troubles, or, you know, learning how to deal with that. The location specifically is Baku, Azerbaijan. So in the lower world, in the past, they say you are called to the land of sacred fire on Azerbaijan's Absheron Peninsula, where in past centuries, mysterious flames rising from the earth drew pilgrims to the Zoroastrian fire worship temple of Ateshga. What images come to your mind now, thinking about this place? The experience would have been mystical, otherworldly, frightening. Do you envisage a sort of hell associating fire with destruction? Or do you see fire's cleansing power, making space for new life? Fire has been honored as sacred by many cultures, and in truth, flames are healing. The symbol on the card represents the divine spark and everlasting life. Have you created a personal hell that needs the transformational power of fire? Look within the flames and let them show you what to do. Oh yeah, the power symbol on this card is literally like flames. You can almost hardly tell it apart from the rest of the illustration. Fire has always been a challenging element for me, and I've been working on that lately, but definitely still have a long way to go. So ignition, transformation, fire, change, and I love this focus on transforming your personal hell that you have created. Maybe reflect a bit upon what that means for you. And then we're going to go into the middle world, the present energy. They say, what of your divine spark? Does the fire of your youth still burn strongly? Are you shining brightly, or has someone extinguished your light? Ateshga was abandoned in 1883 when the fires at the temple went out, after petroleum plants were built to take up the natural gas in the area. But fire is born to be free, to spread its heat and energy. Do you remember being a free spirit, spreading joy? How do you feel now? Are you content with what has happened to you? Fire offers spiritual insight. It fuels our convictions. It is passion. Ask yourself now, who or what has snuffed out your spark and why? Was it the loss of a relationship that has dampened your flame? Know that the fire in your heart can never really go out. From today, rekindle your fire and your love, starting with your love for yourself. I think it's interesting that I have recently been thinking a lot about how I was born into this world like a fearless, perfect child. And through my experiences with my mother and early childhood experiences, I learned to fear people and to fear the world and to fear life and to fear existence and to fear survival and to fear my body and to fear being here and to fear the community around me and to fear everything, to live in fear. I knew mentally it wasn't the truth, but it was what I experienced and I learned about and I felt. And then I got a little older and my sister was born. And through my experiences with her, she taught me, even though I grew up in a place that was filled with good role models of, expression and self-love and not being ashamed of your body and your creative expression, and I had exposure to all of this, so in my head I knew these concepts, but then I experienced things with my sister where every time that I expressed myself, every time that I received attention, every time that I received anything, every time I received pleasure, every time I received something that she felt she didn't receive, like the act of receiving and the act of expression and the act of like existing in the world more than just like sitting on the shelf like a doll, it created this jealousy and this pain and this anger and this reaction, and I didn't want to see people in pain, and so I backed off from that, and I learned to be ashamed of my expression, of my life force energy, of my sexual energy, of my ability to receive anything. And so I worked really hard to make sure that I didn't receive anything. And then my whole life, I lived this experience of not knowing and understanding what the feeling of anger was. And it's like when people that have like don't have feelings, have like alexithymia, or like even like sociopaths or something. They're like trying to wrap their brain around something that they have not experienced and they can't understand because they've never experienced, not really. And so that was my experience with anger my whole life until I had my experiences with my ex. And I was like, am I getting sick? What is this? I didn't understand the sensation. I didn't understand what was happening in my head and my body. It was totally new to me, and maybe it was something that was suppressed forever. But yeah, that was my experience, was of anger when I was like 21 years old. I'd never felt anger before. Not really. I'd never felt rage. I'd never felt angry at myself for taking risks and chances on people and for choosing compassion, and I never got angry with myself for those things until I got pushed to this point and I got to experience that emotion. And now I think I may be having a similar experience with jealousy and envy because I've never understood those emotions, and I think maybe right now I might be being pushed to learn about them. Oh man, does that mean the next one is lies and illusions? I was gonna say hopefully not, but if all things in divine timing, if needed, I'll do it. I'll walk into the fire because I know now the value of that. I know the value of the fire and the change. I didn't want to change things because the people around me were afraid of change, were ashamed of themselves, didn't want change, didn't want the anger. They didn't want the fire. They didn't want the smoke. And so I didn't. I kept the flame out. I kept it gone. I kept the fire down. And so these relationships and these experiences, in a way, dampened my flame of fearlessness, dampened my flame of connection and expression, dampened my flame of like pride and self-esteem and fight, dampened my flame of love. Do you remember being a free spirit, spreading joy? Not really. How do you feel now? Passion. Ateshga was abandoned in 1883 when the fires at the temple went out after petroleum plants were built to take up the natural gas in the area. But fire is born to be free, to spread its heat and energy. Do you remember being a free spirit, spreading joy? From today, rekindle your fire and your love, starting with your love for yourself. Okay, we're just gonna keep moving forward because I always get a little disoriented when I'm in the fire energy. I can go from being like really passionate and on a roll about something to like totally disassociated and shut down and lost and confused and foggy. And that has been my experience with fire, and it's why I used to avoid it, because I knew there was no use in trying. I might try and look a little funny, but it's worth trying now. I understand the power of fire now. I think that I was getting at, I was ashamed of my fire. I was ashamed of my light and my expression. Because light is something that people notice, right? And I so badly did not want to be noticed. From my mother because of the terror aspect. If nobody sees me, nobody can fear, nobody can worry, nobody can be afraid of me, nobody can be afraid for me. If I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. And with my sister, if I just existed and I didn't express myself, then I wouldn't inspire shame in anybody else. I wouldn't feel ashamed for existing or for taking up space in some way. I didn't want to feel that pain and that fire. Emotions are kind of fire. When we're talking about shame and the second chakra and stuff, it's like about waters generally, but the waters of the second chakra in my mind are the stuff that runs through your veins. And the stuff that runs through your veins is filled with energy, with prana, with chemicals, and like life, chemistry, things moving, reacting, transforming, activating. So you need that fire running through your veins to live a life where you are no longer controlled by fear, where you are no longer controlled by shame, by anger, by jealousy, by illusion. And fire is destructive and transformative. So if we don't like change, or we don't like loss, or we don't like surrender, then fire is the worst possible thing we can experience. But your freedom from the fear and the shame and the anger and the jealousy and the illusions is worth all of that and more. It's worth all of the struggle and all the pain and all the confusion. So put your key in your ignition and get going if this is resonating with you today. And in the upper world, in the potential position here for y'all's energy, they say here is the winged symbol of Zoroastrianism. Maybe of some significance to you. Wasn't Prince Zoroastrian? Anyways, the religion of the ancient Persian Empire based on good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Zoroastrians often offer prayers besides fire, recognizing its ability to invigorate, to remove the old and birth the new. So when did fire become associated with hell? Why is it feared? Perhaps fear was deliberately instilled to extinguish fire's true purpose. Zoroaster had a vision of a giant man, the archangel Vohumana, or good thoughts, who took him to the wise lord who appointed Zoroaster as a prophet and gave him the doctrines of Zoroastrianism. During his ministry, Zoroaster performed wonderful cures and miracles driven by his inner fire. Take steps toward building up your inner fire. Learn to firewalk, perhaps, or just spend time with fire, letting the naked flame speak to your own light. Allow no one and nothing, neither word nor deed, to extinguish your flame. You have a right to burn brightly. I forgot exactly where I was going with everything when I was, commenting on the present position, but I ended up kind of going in exactly the direction that the potential position advice went, interestingly enough. But yeah, that could be summed up. You have a right to burn brightly, and I would argue that you almost have a responsibility to burn brightly, especially in the world today. We need everybody. We need all our soldiers. We need everybody in their positions. We need all the help we can get. God is good. But only maybe half of this universe is particles of God. We gotta make the rest of it happen if we want to manifest that energy in our physical reality down here with our community and our friends and our family and our bodies and our real day-to-day lives, So, I wonder if there's any way I can get that to stay here. Oh, yes. I don't know if you can see it entirely, but yeah, I like that. Let's keep it there. So we're going to do the meditation on the eternal flame. If you'd like to grab a candle or something, I feel like this would probably be a good opportunity to do that. But you could also just use visualization, sit with us here. Sitting on the ground, imagine a vent of natural fire below you. It offers to cleanse you of all fears. With eyes closed, sense a flame shooting up through you, reaching into the sky. Breathe deeply. As you inhale, expand your stomach outward. And as you exhale, draw your navel back to your spine. This is the fire breath, awakening the sacred energy within. Continue to breathe in this manner as the flames sweep through your body, consuming the darkness of any fears brought about by thoughts, words, or deeds. Feel every cell recalibrate as you reawaken to passion, to joy. With newfound strength and courage, recall any of the thoughts, words, or deeds of those who tried to extinguish your inner fire. Immediately, these disintegrate in your flame, which now burns silvery white. Feel your radiance expand. Any negativity you held within is now gone, replaced with this sacred glow, a burning desire to stand true in all that you do and all that you are, the eternal flame that never dies. I think that it's interesting that they were talking about the imagining the flames, like the physical flames coming up from the vent underneath you. It's like a physical fire. It's like the red, yellow, orange fire of your lower chakras or something, you know? And through the process of sitting with those emotions and allowing and creating the space to hold and experience and process our feelings. Emotions are the ignition. Emotions are what gets the dominoes moving. And you might not want the dominoes to fall. You might not like dominoes falling. But if somebody set it up real nice and fun, it probably has some like practical purpose and stuff. Maybe you should let that happen. And I would say, yes, Spirit set that up. And you should let that happen. And it is going to work out and be helpful for you. But as you go through that process of holding a safe space for your emotions, for your physicality, for your passion, for your feelings to be expressed, whatever those happen to be, it's not that there's anything to avoid in or to dislike in the energy of fear, in the energy of shame, in the energy of anger, in the energy of jealousy. All these things are kind of like spectrums. And if you go too far to one end of that energy, it's a negative. And if you go too far to the other end of that energy, it's a negative. But really, they're just kind of neutral energies. And the emotions are able to address that. When things are coming out of balance, the emotions come up, that fire comes up from under you to say, this needs to change, this needs to transform, this needs to shift. And through those emotions and holding space for them, you bring that physical energy through your heart. It's like you have all this stuff in your veins right now, currently, but through your intention, through synchronizing, harmonizing, communicating between your mind and your body, holding space with your heart energy, you're able to transform those intense, hot, fiery emotions from this yellow, red physicality into this like pure white laser light that allows you to utilize that energy and that passion in an intentional, directed, co-creative kind of way. And if we don't go through that process of feeling those feelings and transforming those things through that fire, then they will still affect us and they will rule us and they will keep us stuck and they will burn away things that don't need to be burned away, and it will reinforce your belief that fire is a dangerous, harmful energy that must be avoided. And I think we want to avoid that belief because we really need some freaking fire right now. And hopefully we don't bring it to the point where we must attract an incredible hellfire onto this earth and crazy catastrophes to create that necessary change. I believe it can look different than that. It doesn't have to be a big physical drama, but it does have to be a process somewhere. So if you can visualize and hold space for that process to unfold within your body and your mind internally, you can transmute the energies that you're experiencing and get better and better at that and start to help transmute the energies in the world around us. So we can take all of this fire that's been misdirected and misappropriated, and we can start to use it in instead of in a destructive way, in a co-creative way, which was always what Spirit intended. And all of these symptoms of all of the pain and trauma and drama going on in the world right now are just our earth screaming out for our attention, trying to communicate with us what she needs our help with. And she's not trying to hurt anybody. She's trying to let you know that she needs your help, or she won't be able to continue helping you the way she would like to. She's being responsible. She's being respectful. With all the volcanoes and the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the nonsense. You have to learn how to speak her language a little bit. And you have to learn how to be proactive in this. You jump into the fire or you will be pushed into the fire. Which one would you like to choose? I'm actually not going to pull a single card on that. I feel like it was entirely sufficient. I'm very grateful for all of y'all for showing up today. I think I'm gonna use this guy today. So, love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I hope that this made sense and helped whoever it was meant to be received by today. Go light a campfire. Go light a candle. Go meditate on your flames, on your violet flame, on your blue flame, on your heart flame, on your orange flame. Meditate on the fire, experience the fire, play with the fire, dance with the fire if you know your limits. If that's a thing you can do, might be useful for you. And let me know how it goes for you. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you have a beautiful day. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I'll see you there. Boop.